Today we are at the historical Mineral Spring Park in Williamston, and this was the venue for the 41st Springwater Festival that they hold every year in Williamston, South Carolina. So this festival is made up of business vendors where businesses can talk to all of the attendees that come here. They have food vendors, they have craft vendors, they have live band on the amphitheater behind me. Plus they have other stages where other types of music also play throughout the 2-day event. So this has been going on obviously for 41 years, and this is a huge draw to Williamston the last weekend of August every year. So now we're going to kind of take a little bit of a tour, and I can let you know where people typically set up. Like I said, on this stage behind me, they have the premier bands, if you will, during the day. So they start on Friday nights. They usually have beach music. And then during the day on Saturday, they have a lot of the local artists that come out here and play. And then typically at about 3 or 4 p.m. they end with the headliner band. Now let's take a walk and see where everybody else goes. So at this stage during the Springwater Festival typically is the gospel stage. So this is where a lot of the churches have their gospel singers, and we have a gentleman in the area that will line up all of the gospel bands to come in and out. About 30 to 45 minute intervals, they come out and they perform for everybody at the festival. And then as we come over to this side of the sidewalk, this is where a lot of the business vendors will be lined up. You'll see some pictures in the video of how they're lined up. But one thing I do want to mention that wasn't here the last time I did my video on Williamston Park is we have a Main Street program called Envision Williamston. And Envision Williamston, the first part of this year, was kind enough to dedicate this fire pit over here. So this is where there used to be a lot of church services back in the olden days in Williamston, which is why you kind of have a little altar here or pulpit here, and then you have the rock seating around. So Envision Williamston did sponsor or fund the fire pit that we now have in the park. So you can come out and you can rent that fire pit, you can have a party, and have a really nice wood burning fire pit. So that's just a little extra, little something that's new here. And that's the one thing about the park is everybody always does try and do kind of add things to the park occasionally to kind of keep it new, keep interest, keep people coming out, because this is a wonderful, wonderful asset to our community and has been for years. So if we would not concentrate on bringing new things to the park, then it would be detrimental to our area. So now moving back to the festival. So as I said, this is where all of the businesses lined up. We actually had a tent here, and there is another association that I'm affiliated with, the Palmetto Business Association, that supports small and local businesses in our Tri-City area, which mainly encompasses Williamston, Pelzer, and West Pelzer, and some of the outlying areas. This event is typically visited by close to 3,000 people from the last count that we had done, and I think that was honestly pre-COVID, so it was probably a little bit more than that this year, since everybody still is just ready to get out. And then as we make our way down the sidewalk, you're going to see the mineral spring, and that's what this park is named after. And there is a link to the history of this park that we will drop below the video for you to be able to read all about the spring that's located in this park. But one thing that's very interesting is Lander University started in Williamston, actually started in our municipal center. And one of their yearbooks one year was named for a naiad. So this year at the park, Mr. Thomas Addison, who was an art teacher here and is a wonderful artist, does a lot of art that is around town, he actually presented his painting of the naiad. And then we did have a young individual that was dressed as a naiad. So we'll also include a picture of her just for a little bit of fun. And an interesting tidbit about this spring is people actually still come fill up jugs of water because this spring is said to have healing components in it. And now we are going to make our way over to the other side of the creek, which is where the craft vendors usually set up. So this side of the park is where all the craft vendors set up. So we will have some pictures in here of that as well, just to kind of show you how they're all lined up to make nice little walkways for everybody to walk around and see the crafts that the people have. And in order to be able to have a booth here, anything that you display has to be handmade by you. You can't, they don't allow clothing stores and things like that to display at the park. So that's just kind of a neat thing that we've never lost the tradition of at the Springwater Festival. And then if you look back to this parking lot here, this is where the food vendors line up, and then over off that side of the roadway is where the amusement rides were set up. So this is a really, really exciting festival that Williamston has every year. And another caveat, if you look across this way to the Williamston Fire Department, they actually have an antique car show as well that happens that day. So it's a day that's filled with a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of things for anybody in the family to do. The nicest thing about this festival is you don't have to fight Greenville traffic to come to a wonderful festival. So again, we sell all over the upstate. So we sell in Greenville, we sell in Travelers Rest, we sell in the bigger cities. But the one thing that I really, really, really want people to understand that I didn't understand until I moved to a small town is that there are a lot of wonderful things that are available in a small town. Actually, the smaller your town is, the more that the different associations and organizations in that town do to bring people to our towns. So this Tri-City area of Williamston, Pelzer, West Pelzer, Piedmont, these are all great little towns. I mean, could you come here for a week and find things to do? Probably not, but you're still in very close proximity to Greenville. So if you do want to go up there and walk in Falls Park and things like that, then you're just a short drive to do it. But anyway, just another perk of living in a small town.